Film gods. Bonjour. Salut. Hola, ¿qué tal? All of the languages. Let's just throw it out there because I just had a cheeky little check of the week's downloads, and I'm just going to throw out some countries. So if this was you, massive love, just absolutely huge love. So obviously we got the UK, big up yourselves. The United States, France, Australia, Germany, Spain, South Africa, Ireland, Brazil, Italy, Japan, Switzerland, Denmark, South Korea, Netherlands, Austria, Belgium, Canada, Finland, Norway, Sweden, Singapore, Thailand, Turkey, Ukraine. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal that many people from around this planet, this beautiful earth, are listening. Honestly, the film family are holding strong, are supporting each other, and I want to get some of you guys on, some of you lovely girls and guys on. Let's just start talking to everyone globally. We'll work it out, do it via Zoom, so it's all good. But hello, welcome everyone to another episode of the Film Gods. I am your host, Isusko Garcia, aka the Time Scheduler on the Instagrams and all the rest of it. This is the Film Gods podcast. You are here to listen to the people in it, the people that are going to be in it, the people that are going to be here 10 years time, 20 years time, some even 30, 40 years time. So today's episode, we are blessed with a guest who I kind of want to just dispel that everything has to be done a certain way. And our guest today saw a change years ago, jumped on something that resonated with him. Control, being able to have that control on their film set was something that really pushed them into what they do and how they do it. And my gut instinct is that, especially in short form commercials, content world of Instagram doom scrolling adverts, this niche, smaller units, lighter, nimble, creative on their feet, is where a percentage of the industry is going to go. So I wanted to get someone on that's been doing it for the last 10 years. And it's such a bubbly interview. I know you're going to have an amazing time. Shout out to all of you listeners across the globe. It really means the world that you're listening. It really means so much. If you do like it, just give us a little 5-star rating if you can. Really helps us out getting out there into the masses, into the ether. Shout out to Creative Caves, and again, final little shout out to Cine Certified, who are doing some amazing things for the UK film crew. But let's not just shorten it to the British film industry. What they're doing can translate so easily to anywhere across the globe. Any one of those countries that I named 2 minutes ago, what they're doing can translate into your industry to help your departments, especially camera. But let's say this, it can just translate to all of them. And I normally like to drop a little something here of like stoic philosophy, but there's nothing really to say apart from just sending massive love. And whatever the industry is doing in your neck of the woods, drop a little comment. The videos go out most days on the Instagram at the Film Gods. Follow us. Let us know how you're getting on. Let us know if you're going through something great. If you're not going through something great, let's just start communicating globally as we are a film family. And who knows, where's next? Universe? Can you imagine? In the infinite space that we have, that there are other people, living beings, who don't have anything, who don't do film, who have no idea what film is. We're making it for them. So look, not only are you supporting the film industry of this planet, let's fire it out to the universe and let's see who comes back down and just has their opinion of what the greatest films are. Imagine if someone turns around and goes, oh yeah, no, my cousin was E.T. I know someone that looks like the dude from E.T. Ramble tangent over. Let's get straight to the ep.
Ladies and gentlemen,
So, Film God Familia, welcome back. Another episode that I know is going to be such value. We've been talking offline for a little while, trying to get something in the day. And why I wanted to get our guest on today is, especially in the short form, things are changing at such a drastic speed that our guest took the plunge many years ago, saw the gap, saw the niche, went for it. And I think of where the industry's going, the role that he has created around himself and the niches and his skill set is where I think a lot of advertising and commercials and the content that we get on our phones and in our TVs is I think where he's going to be ahead of the game on everyone. So I wanted to get his perspective of how he does it, what he does, and you're going to have so much fun because even just in the 5 minutes, 10 minutes we've just had offline, we've just been having such a lovely little chat, and all the little times that we've been talking offline, he's got so much to say and he's so articulate. You're going to have an amazing time. So no more from me. What is your name and what is your role on the call sheet?
Okay, hello. I'm Josh Cawthorn, and if I'm on a call sheet, I'll be director or self-shooter. But most of the time, I'm actually independent and doing it a different way, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
Which is what I want to get into. So that different way, what is your workflow? How does the process work? I come from, and we both started off in 35 mil, shooting on studio, shooting in locations. I know how that works. Agency, client, agency, production company, film crew, go shoot it, send your invoice, done. Well done. But how does your workflow and how does that creative process differ for you?
Okay, so yeah, we did grow up in the same environment, and the way it's different. I mean, every job's a bit different, but it's way more direct. It's way more with talent or with like client and subject and me sort of thing. So it's less like agencies and I guess way smaller crews. So I guess less eyeballs on the monitor and faster productions, right? You know?
So what do
Yeah.
they do? Do they have they already got a concept and an idea, or do they get you in to the start to say, come up with, give me five idents, or what? How does that direct to
Yeah.
client stuff work?
Yeah, so most of the time the creative's already formed, and they'll be looking for a director, or they'll have a vision in mind, yeah. But as a director, I do also pitch and like come up with treatments and stuff. But more often than not, there's already something there, so it's a case of like making it happen, right? Like less on the like director stamp, I suppose, if I'm honest. But still they need a director that can that's better than who they've got in house. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So you kind of, I guess they know you for what you do. You've got that niche. Your
Hmm.
reel's lovely. There's some beautiful kind of sports stuff that's creative in its shooting. Do you shoot most of the stuff that you do, or is it better? And look, and for those guys watching on the YouTube, the video camera that Josh is using is starting to fall off its tripod.
It's to it's balancing there because it's the shot, right? And I wanted to emphasize,
Yeah,
I guess, like
for the
the
creative,
power
baby.
of available light and like just one source is like, you know what I mean? Especially as a one man band, a lot of what I do, we rely on an available light and just one key source.
Mm.
And sometimes, as you know, it's overcomplicating it. But I've gone off topic there. Go on.
No, I like it. I like it. I like what
The
you did. It's kind of the self shooter. You're shooting on an iPhone. You're in the, you're in an office. You're kind of
yeah,
making it work with what you have around you. So yeah.
and
So
that's
just, I want
yeah.
that. I want you to kind of give me your description then of especially with the speed that content needs to come out. A classic creative, a classic advert has taken months and months to get to us, to film the film crew to shoot it.
Uh-huh.
So does that singularity or do that small units allow you to work faster? Do you go What is it that excites you about why and what you've chosen?
Um, so yeah, loads of it excites me. The whole game excites me. And obviously we're comparing two different beasts, right? Like
Hmm.
commercials versus social, and it is a really exciting place to be. Absolutely amazing. And yeah, it's a different beast altogether. It's very fast, but it's exciting, right? I think mainly like from an ownership perspective, like it's so nice to have full control, more or less, like it being like really all yours. Like, yeah, I mean, yeah, it is fast paced, but there's also power in that as well. Like once you get into the rhythm of it, momentum is wicked. Like, it's all about good momentum. Um, and it's cool when you can walk away and you've done like 15 things in a day
Wow.
or something like that, and you're like, this is so far away from where I grew up. I had to do quite a lot of unlearning
Hmm.
from the TV commercial world in order to survive in this social first world. Like having the beauty of support, like you're not blessed with that, and the idea you can go again and go again, and like more is more, like like all of that luxury is like stripped away, and it's like make it messier, make it like make it like less polished. So that for me, there was a lot of unlearning I had to do. And But it's nice though, because just like everything, it's like once when you're training in a field, it's wicked to be able to catch up. You know what I mean? Like
But who were you learning
and
from? This is the reason I want to get you on because how many, like, we had a film industry for hundreds of years, and the way that we shot adjusted and evolved, and it got to the point that you got your 20 boards, you got your pack shot at the end, and all of that unlearning that you had to do, is that just through trial and error?
it's through the budget.
Mm, okay.
Um, and how do you? I mean, the learning I took all from the grown-ups in commercials. Thank you. The amount of effort and time and lights and everything that goes into like a pack shot. But then like bringing what is only essential, and like less is more. It's what I guess I'm not saying it's easy, but like when you know how to do it really well, like as in like we need 20 people and we need a lot of money. Like the challenge is like, then can you do it for 10%, right? And that is a challenge you have to sort of learn on your own. I must admit, when I first started doing it on my own, I would have really like required like assistance. I found it really hard to go out like just on my own, like to begin with. So like I started with skeleton crews, and then eventually I've sort of got to a place, but I still wouldn't say necessarily I got on my own the whole time. But but it all depends on the budget, doesn't it? So like
Mm,
and if you want to do it to begin with.
yes. Well, it sounds like a much more lonely feels like the wrong word, but it does sound like it has less people around you to lean on. So everything is on your
Mm,
shoulders. And
yeah.
I guess for some people that is perfect because they want absolute control over
Mm,
everything. But are
mm.
there limitations to it, and when do you
Oh, yeah.
see the benefit of having more people? Or if you had a bigger budget, would you just have bigger toys to be able to do more stuff by yourself?
Um, yeah, there's quite a few layers to that.
Multiple
Uh,
questions.
yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
No, no, no. So let's break it down. So like is there a limit to doing stuff on your own? Of course there is, right? Like
Hmm.
you can see the difference between a music video shot by a videographer versus a music video shot by a team. Like how many things can you do well, like as one person, right? You know what I mean? There's
Mm,
obviously a limit to it, and that's why. I would only do certain things on my own to begin with, right? It just makes total sense. There's definitely a limit. So I think remembering the landscape that we're in, like remembering there's different layers to social. A LinkedIn video will look a lot different to an Instagram video. They'll look different to a Facebook video. They'll look a lot different to a YouTube. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of it's always about like understanding the landscape and then like doing what's right and bringing the right tools for the job, right? So like not everything requires like big units. We don't need like, do you know what I mean? Some of the stuff is super simple and it's and therefore like less is more. And if there's not multiple casts and the moving locations and stuff, like there's no need for someone that's super talented and skilled like you, bro. Unfortunately, no. Do you know what I mean? Because it really is just like we're on a phone with so and so, like ding ding ding, like that's the job, man. Like, and that doesn't require like bells and whistles. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that ability to kind of take everything, because it feels like the classic commercial industry was your apprenticeship feels kind of like the right word, because the thing is that you had to go and learn how it was done to unlearn what you needed to, but still keep some of the important stuff, and then that gives you, in essence, and the phrase, that kind of jack of all trades, master of none. But actually, the end of that phrase, which I only really knew recently, is the jack of all trades, master of none, but often times better than a master of one. What you're doing is you're taking the 50 people on a film set, condensing it down to director, DP, sound, lighting, and AD, and you probably do your own production. So you've kind of taken the HODs, stripped it back to its bare essentials, to what needs to be done, to then be able to then put together a shoot that is you plus one plus two and a few influencer in sports people, that kind of stuff. So how much did you have to unlearn?
How much did I have to unlearn? At times, everything. But in the back of your mind, you've still got the experience, and you know that you can do it, if you know what I mean. But sometimes all of it. So again, it's what's right for the job, the right tool for the job, right? Nice. And we all know that feeling when we were talking about it before, like with available light, like, yes. And we were saying, like, you were telling me some of the best car shots you've ever seen have been using available light.
Yeah.
And then you imagine that you're on the day there and you've got a van and like all of that stuff, and and you're looking at the producer's face, and they're just like how much does this cost, when we're like, and there's that. And I don't want to say that there's anything wrong with preparing, and like, of course you're going to need what you need, but at the same time, it's about really not overshooting, right? And not over delivering on what you need, right? And therefore, the budget would determine like what you can bring and what you can't.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with available light. Most of the time you get away with it.
I like what you're talking there about, kind of like the right tools for the job. Yeah. And it takes me to I was having a chat with someone who's very experienced stunt driver, someone's very experienced filming cars. It's their thing. They niche filming and cars. And they were doing a job for a very large car commercial brand company. And they had, a classic, the production company and director and the storyboards, and they were sitting there having this kind of pre-production meeting on the morning of the shoot. And they were talking about what they wanted to get and how they wanted the thing and this and the close-up of the thing and the da-da-da-da. And so the stunt driver and the camera op, because they kind of sit in the same car, and then they have a stunty in the hero car. They're like, look, give me 10 minutes. Just give us 10, 15 minutes. Let us go on the track. let's shoot some stuff, and then we'll come back and we'll show it to you. So they're still like an hour into this meeting, and they've got right, like we're going to go off. They go off, they shoot for 10 minutes, they come back, they show them all the rushes. They're like, oh, it's everything that we've just been speaking about. And you kind of go, well, as soon as you get the right person, the right tool, the right experience for the job, you save so much time
Mm.
than having to just sit around and talk about what you kind of want, when actually the reality of what you can get is just go, right, I want to shoot something for socials. I want to get some, blah, blah, blah. Let's get Josh in. You go, right, I can give you this camera, that camera, this camera. And I can give you this, this, and this. So your experience now has over the, I want to say, what, 10 years now? Have you been doing it?
Mm.
Probably
Yeah,
longer.
yeah.
Your experience now is so condensed to social. It's perfect for socials. Whereas when you started,
Mm.
there was no social media.
Yeah.
So when did you
Well,
die? Like, when was your choice? When was that first moment when you decided you kind of you wanted to shift and step into this unknown industry that kind of wasn't even an industry, because there was no social media yet. There was no content creation. It was just
yes.
videography. It was behind the scenes. It was that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So um, I remember I was being a runner and I was getting sick and tired of running. And I walked up to a really good friend of mine, like production manager, and I said to her with like not a serious question, but I was like, how do I become a director? Like, and I remember like she looked at me and like just the eyes she gave me, and I could tell by that right, time to go. This is like I'm not happy here. Like I'm obviously like and just the look on her face, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And then so I was like, right, I can I understand that. Time to go. Do you know what I mean?
When
Like
was this? Just so I've got a gauge
and
a
like gotta
time.
find when was this? About 10 years ago, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that was that was my last day on like a traditional set, as at least as a runner at least. And I remember just thinking like I've got to do this myself. Like, there's no one's going to help me. Like you know what I mean? Like this is all me. And I like I guess the next stage was like COVID was sort of happening, and I saw like the demise of the business and everything like that. And I thought, right, how can I create something that's like sustainable, that's going to keep me working, and that's like future proof to a degree, that can keep this one running, right? So that's when I started the company called Freelance Videographer London, which is up there on Google, doing its thing. And then I guess at that time it was just a sort of like where's the business going? What can we do to keep this beast running?
Mhm.
And then that became really successful. So it's kind of formed itself into a untraditional production company, I suppose, and it means not every job is like for the real, but sometimes the ones on the Monday when you really could do with them, you know what I mean? They
Yeah, yeah.
they can help pay the bills. You know what I mean?
And how do you work that difference out? Do you have to? Do you? I guess there's the, as you coined the phrase, the, one for the mill, one for the real. That kind of one for the mill that maybe isn't something that's going to be the creative push forward and look beautiful on the website, but actually is an important part of, you know the banking financial situation, where they want to get a piece to camera, or they want to film an event, or they want to do those kind of things. I think it's really smart what you've done, which is not everything has to be, sorry, it's not that not everything has to be creative, is that you've allowed yourself to park your ego for a moment, to say, I'm going to shoot some stuff that allows me to then go and be creative. And on the creative jobs, I don't necessarily need to be, one, making money, and two, have to have a markup. I can I can spend that extra little 20% on, getting a drone in, getting a jib in, getting the something in, getting, I
Yeah,
love that differentiation. It's the yin and yang, the kind of, the two sides of a coin. And
yeah,
do you ever feel that, compromise the wrong word, because I don't think you'd ever compromise what you do, but there's not always going to be the need for the super creative. So how do you park the idea of wanting everything to look great or be super creative when you're doing the standard pieces to camera and the stuff, events and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, again, it's not everything has to be showreel worthy, like, and I'm okay with that. Um, you know, one for the meal, one for the meal, and you know, you do too much for the meal. You know, it can like, where's
Yes.
the real, and like, you know, um, not much has changed, like this year, whatever, like, you know what I mean. So, um, for me, there's just solace in like being sustainable and like being um, like having enough momentum and enough you know enough business to relax a bit and you
Mm.
know like that's
That's important for most people now at the
yeah
minute. There's been
yeah
a
man, it's like now it's just especially like even over here in the wild west, like it's wild, like it's different, everything's changed, man, like you know what I mean. It's
it's
yeah
changing. I think
it's
the landscape is changing, but there will always, and this is why I love what you've done. You've kind of you grew up in the world of short form, you know, classically trained. The you know the 180-degree rule and the 3-point lighting system, but actually seeing trucks and trucks of gear and stuff unloaded. And now the industry's found this tiny, it, you know, when we back when we were doing it, it was like, oh, it's only for socials, it's for the internet, you know, back then it was just
yeah
for the internet, so
for the
budgets were
internet,
lower. No one
yeah.
really, everyone thought, ah, no one's going to watch it. The flip now over the last probably maybe 10 years, but the flip now, it's like actually the TVCs that are dying, and
Mhm.
where you are in the world of socials and the content, that's now
Mm.
getting hundreds of millions upon billions of views.
Mm.
And the budgets align up with that, or are we still back in the world of it's only for internet?
Mm. I think the budgets are always according to what it is, and I mean, yeah, of course, if it's just a solo shooter doing something that's like shot on a phone or whatever, it's not going to have the same like because it doesn't need the same budget. It's like
Mm,
as as um as the stuff you mentioned, but that's just common sense, and I think it's all diluted, and that's fine, but at the same time, you don't ever want to like overcharge for something that you know, because that just leaves a sour taste in everyone's mouth. Do you know what I mean? It's just
mm.
like costs are costs. Like it is what it is. It might creep up every year, but the kit might
As it
go down.
should.
Like, but like you know what I mean? It's like, um, uh, so funny thing. Have you ever done that thing where you're a film crew and you bump into another film crew and you're on location? Have you ever done that?
Yeah.
Right. So like like someone pointed this out the other day. So it's like dogs in kennels, like and then as soon as like someone opens the gate, like you go from like dogs in the kennels to like wagging your tails like hi, like, you know what I mean? Like what are you doing?
Everyone.
What are you doing? What are you doing? And it's just like it's that thing, isn't it? Of like we're all in the same team, but there's so much of it like
Mm.
but like I think we're all part of the same family, and we all, you know what I mean. Like we all do it for the love, don't we? Do you know what I mean? And like
Yes.
that's what's cool about what we do.
But
Um,
we're amalgamating a lot now onto shoots. So when you just kind of do football kit launches and sports people and this kind of, you will just have a social set, a still set, and the TVC, and
yeah.
we're all in it together, and we're all,
Hmm.
you know, we all get 30 seconds to shoot with these people.
Hmm.
Does that I don't know how that's going to adjust, and whether the TVC then disappears and actually it's your world of the socials and the stills and that kind of stuff that then starts to become more, because most of the time the you know the way that the majority of people that listen to this more than likely see adverts on their phones rather than adverts on the telly, and apart from the odd sports news and a couple of programs that they highly love, tra- traditional terrestrial television and the world of commercials are gone. It's kind of finished. It needs to change. Um, what have you seen over this last couple of years, and where do you see the next couple of years kind of coming up to percentage of content creation rather than classic TVC?
I see money being spent in fashion a lot. I see money being spent in like products in the social atmosphere at the moment. Um, and also those things have still got some legs, haven't they? You know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't think I can. I don't think I know where it's going, to be honest. But I think from all you've said above makes sense. Um, I think less is more with social. We all know. I did a thing for like a super well-known social media company, and they were sort of really banging on about like make it like messier, make it messy. You know, like we shot the whole thing on a phone, like you know, and they were like even the lighting was like they were like make it like nah, like less because you know, and these guys know the algorithms of the world, right? And they're just like, there is a total disconnect. You were trying to sell a pair of trainers, and they're like, and it's all like like that. It's like it doesn't quite connect to, you know, and it's obvious, isn't it? Like to you know your mate Dan down the road who like, do you know what I mean? Like you know, and that's and you know this very well. Like sometimes less is more.
I like it because what you're
Um,
saying with the less is more, and I just want to touch base on the make it messier. Like in my head, like you look at everything, you're like, oh, you can see the cable on that thing. That move that, okay, twist that. No, anti-clock the pack just a touch. No, too much. No, come back and like everything is about perfection when it's on
mm,
telly because
mm,
you're trying to grab someone's eye and making it seem hyper real. And
mm.
but like this is me unlearning. You're doing stuff now where they're like, make in essence, make it look shitter, more real,
Bingo,
but make it look shitter. Like
bingo.
you
You took the
go to the
words out of my.
client.
You
Can you
took the words
imagine?
out of my mouth. Yeah, no, that's exactly what.
You're going over to like the agency
Yeah,
area, like, sorry guys, is that shit enough? Yeah, everyone happy with the
yeah.
level of shitness?
But you know, you got to ask yourself, what is the visual language saying? If something's super polished and super gorgeous, right? What
Mm,
does that visually say? Like you say, that's like like utopia, like whoa, like right, like and is that the message you want to get across, or do you want it to be like a bit more real and a bit less blah, like a bit less
mm,
Hollywood? Because Hollywood is, you know, glitz and glamour is there, and who's that talking to, right? Like, what are we visually saying here? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's important to know that, like, you know, and obviously doing what's right for the job as well. Like, you know, there's like I said, there's always a limit to what you can do as a self shooter. There is, of course. So let's try and sort of not put a McDonald's commercial, like rah, like beautiful hamburger, like rah, because that's not what you can do. Like you know what I mean? There's a limit to what a single person can do on that.
mm-hmm.
But for something that isn't that, what are we do? What are we doing? Who are we talking to? What's the audience, and what message are we trying to say? You know what I mean? Like especially in a visual language tone. You know?
Well, you're real. The ones that I've seen, the one there's a lot of sports in there, and that
Yeah.
kind of single shooter available light, not a lot of time with cast. That kind of fits in really nicely for that little pocket of world.
Yeah. 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 Run and gun, go. Yeah, it's wicked. It's got to be done. Again, it's about knowing the landscape. So there's a big difference between, as you know, like a social unit on a doing the PGA golf tour versus a campaign for Adidas featuring, right? You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's it's a
Do you
it's
do
different.
voiceovers as well? I'm just, the amount of voices that we love getting the whole back catalogue of.
Uh,
But it does make
um,
sense. It's kind of, we get minimal time. Ideas are coming up on the day, on the morning, just before the shoot, just before they're about to arrive. For some of the social side of life, it kind of it feels like the chaos of the process can sometimes then help with the creative. Is that fair to say?
ask me again. The chaos of the. Sorry,
The
go again.
chaos, the chaos in the process can sometimes help with the creative on the day.
Um, sorry, that doesn't really apply to me.
Then no, because I come from a I
Yeah,
you know I come from a process background.
yeah, yeah.
The chaos in the process is not, it's storyboarded, everything's there, everything's set, we gone on a
Mm,
recce, it's 35 mil
mm,
from here on a slider, it's 25 mil from there and handheld, it's the crane shot, it's a thing, so that me as a
mm.
job can go, right, in 3 shots time we're outside, let's move that constant tick 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 tick. Is there that much process in the world of social?
No, um, it's a different beast altogether, and um, sometimes it's like ideas as you're recording, um, and less is more. Uh, you know, I mean, of course, every job is different. So some of the stuff I do is a bit heavier than just like a single shooter.
Hmm.
Um, so not every job is the same, right? But in essence, I've got into a good rhythm of like less is more, like fast, 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 go, 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 to match the brief and budget. So like we'll go in
Hmm.
with a plan, sure, but I'm allowed to change it and move it. We're allowed to change it and move it. Like we're allowed to stop it and start again, completely different. There is so much freedom and no drag, right? No, like no, we can't do. Sorry, that's a you know what I mean. Like, it's just like it's go go go, and let's do it well when we can.
Mm.
Uh, do you know what I mean? Like
Nice, nice.
it's a different way of working.
Yes.
And but it's lovely though because I think ownership was always a big thing for me. Ownership. I remember like being a runner and being like, I'm working on something cool. Like this is wicked, and like, but it's not really mine. And like
Mm.
looking at the director and being like, how do I do that? And then looking at the DOP like, how do I do that? And then like, you'd see a back in the day, you'd see a social unit come in and do it behind the scenes, and there'd be like two of them, and it's like, hang on a minute, there's a different way in now. Like there's
Mm.
something. Not everything needs to be like that. It's we're like
Okay.
this now.
Yes.
uh,
916, baby. 916. We entered the world. We enter the
yeah,
world. 16.9 is dying in the content, isn't it?
and it's nice because it's like the barrier to entry is like now lower, less gatekeepers letting people in. It's it's just the work speaks for itself. The real talks for itself. There's less
Yeah.
less BS. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's cool. Do you know what I mean? Go that.
Mm. And then what have you looked? So I guess looking back, was there a point that you kind of suddenly realized, oh, I am a videographer. Oh, I am a content creator. Oh, I am is there, or has it always just been this kind of world of other? And is that other, because as you said, when you walked on set and there would be a BTS crew or a socials unit, it's always the us and them kind of attitude to shooting. But you've been there and you've been us and you've been them and you are us and you are them. What have you gained? What experiences, what lessons have you learned going through the journey that you've gone through you know that you can that you can look back on and go, okay, if I wrote a book now of how to become a videographer, self shooter, content creator. What were those lessons?
Yeah, it's this. I think the main takeaway would be just the importance of client and the um, just the importance of the care and the we used to call them the grown-ups. Remember that the
Yeah, grown
agency,
ups
like
still are. Oh
the
yeah.
like the respect and the chain of command that comes from the the client paying the bills. Um, that was, I think, the biggest takeaway because I think in the world of fast go go go, um, maybe sometimes I don't want to call out other people, so let me just say, so maybe sometimes people can get like carried away with it and being like, "This is my content," but
Mm,
actually, I think the blessings that I had, like I say, really taught me the respect and chain of command, and um, and when possible, everyone's got eyes on it. Is this what we want? Is this what's happening? So yeah, I do storyboard most things before I do them, to be fair, just so everyone can have eyes on what we're doing, because we're all in this boat together. And I think it's really important to like let go of the wheel if the client wants to have a turn, right? And then but then steering it away from the rocks, maybe. Um,
nice.
the the fast pace of social is like I think it's really important to remain to keep that mantra throughout and always doing what's right, especially when someone's paying a lot of money for it.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like making sure they're happy, um, and
That feedback loop is important. I love what you were talking about, kind of making sure that the client feedback loop is still there, and then taking the wheel of the boat and making sure they don't hit the rocks. It kind of seems like that ability to have total control of the process, but relinquish creative control as and when it's needed. Because actually, as you said, they are paying for it. They know what they
mm,
want. They've probably done enough homework on
mm,
who the avatar is that they're selling to, the the look of the feel of what they want the person to be doing and what you're shooting.
mm.
Is it easy to relinquish that control? Do you just see it as you using your experience to steer them to a place that makes the most sense for the time and the budget and what they've initially requested you to do?
uh, is it easy to relinquish control? It's always a funny one because it's like right at the very start, especially if it's even more weird when we've never worked together. So it's like right at the very start, it's like, who's directing this? Literally, like, is that going to be you, like, or is it going to be me? And it's like, and like often you can kind of like we work out at the beginning if someone is going to be like super like breathing down your neck, like super micromanagey, like sort of thing, and then like is that a good point to be like, I don't know if I like, you know what I mean? Like, is it a good vibe? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
and then I think to be able to, I think for me personally, because I worked as an assistant director for so long, I grew up learning from like what the direct, like underneath the director. So like when I am a director, I'm very I can flip very quickly. Like I can take direction or I can direct. Like and
Mm.
thanks to my training, that's great. And I think there are a few other examples of directors that I can think of that work as ADs as well as directors, and they've got the same kind of they've got the same ability to shift and like ignore the ego, just like focus on the picture. Um, the the way it's different for me, I suppose, is like the client will be in that seat. Do you know what I mean? And so um, uh, it's always interesting when you're like, here's the wheel, and then you see them like staring towards the rocks or whatever, and you're like, okay, like
Turn. Yeah.
um, yeah, turn. Um, And remembering ego is like always in the room. You know what I mean? It's like, at
Mm.
what point do you like grab the wheel and be like, I'm an award-winning director, la 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 la, like get away from the rocks. um, you know
You're
what I
gonna
mean?
kill
Like,
us
and like,
all.
but I think having like a calm like approach to it is what it's all about, and
Mm.
just knowing it's a different landscape from before. Um, they just need a pair of safe hands to take them through it, and I think
Mm.
those hands can be as big or small as they need. But it's just like, are we are we doing what's right for the project? Is this going to get done? And has this guy got enough confidence and like creative ability to take it further if we need, or less if we need? You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
and so therefore, um, just doing what's right.
Yes. Well, I mean that just that screams of experience, because I guess the inexperienced younger, and I don't say younger as in age, but in experience, they'll probably always want to do more, want to do a bigger shot, a better shot, a this, let's put like pushing the boundaries. And actually, one, for the algorithm, and two, for what the project needs, it doesn't always have to be bigger, better,
Mm,
shinier. What
mm,
I'm getting from this chat is a very realistic, creative approach to how someone in the world of videography content, making it feel real at times can sometimes be better than making it try and look Hollywood on a budget. And that's a really
mm,
smart voice of experience that's coming through there.
mm,
And that is just you having done this, having learned what you've learned, having been where you've been, having done what you've done.
mm,
I think that's the ability of not being scared to turn around to a client and say, my opinion is contrary and opposite to yours, but it is my opinion, and I'm not just going to say
yeah,
yes to you because you're paying me. You're paying me
uh-huh,
to be here to gain my
mm,
experience. Is that
yeah,
is that a fair assessment of that last?
yeah,
Is
yeah,
that
yeah,
fair
yeah.
to say?
Big time, big time. Um, and more often than not, they love it. It's like, I like what you're saying, but like, no, like with love, like really, like, have you seen what we're doing here? Like, you show them like a monitor, and they're just like, yo. Do you know what I mean? Just like, again, safe pair of hands, holding, making sure everyone's doing what's right for the job, and communicating in a visual language what you're trying to say. You know, um, do you want it to look authentic and bit shitty? No, sorry, don't do that.
Shitter, please,
No,
shitter.
do you want
We need
it?
it
Do you
more
want it to?
real.
Do you want it to look more like more authentic, and therefore less is more, and make it? Do you want it to look a bit messier, a bit more
Mm.
realistic, because that's what we're trying to communicate?
We got close to the 45-minute mark, and I always
Yeah.
like to, at the 45-minute mark, kind of just see if there's a topic or something that we haven't touched base on that you want to have 5 minutes just to wax a little lyrical on.
Um, Wax a lyrical, yo. Um, Shout out to Coolbox. Shout out to all of the OGs. Um, it's like there's space for everyone. There's enough room for everyone to grow. And we all do this because it makes us happy, right? And
Mm.
um, big love to the game.
Yeah, boom. Right, so last two questions, as we always do. Now, there's always a point when we've spoken, because we didn't even touch base on, did you go to uni, did you not, there's no history there for me to kind of bounce to, apart from probably that time where you spoke to that production manager and you asked about wanting to be a director, and they just gave you a look like, I think you need to choose something else. I think there's another role for you. And that, I want to say scary time, because you've kind of you ran for so many years, you realize that those 5 years, if you'd had a negative outlook to that experience, you would have gone, I've wasted my time. I haven't learned anything. Looking back now, it feels like that actually was a really good learning curve for having the experience of how it's done on those type of shoots to then channel that energy into your specific role and your specific niche. So I guess at that point, when you've realized that being a runner on commercial short form film sets wasn't going to be your forever job, and you're sitting there in the car just about to, go back on your TomTom because there was no, there was nothing on the phone to be able to get you home, and you had your A to Z. Then you're sitting in the car with that person there. What advice do you have for that, Josh?
Yeah. Trust your gut. There is another way. And remember, ask yourself, are you happy? Are you learning? Because you don't need to push it out for so long if you're not happy, and and it isn't as scary as you think. The internet will save the day.
All the things that are changing for your benefit. Yeah, nice. All right, well, look, last question. Well, it's not even a question. This is now for you to give a shout out to a project, a person, the people, an industry. This is your kind of Oscars acceptance speech. So I roll my desk. I roll my chair away from the desk. I don't roll my desk anyway. And I give you the floor.
Okay, I'll take the floor. I won't roll my desk back. I should probably send you a BTS picture of what this setup is. I wanted to use an available light. Yo, shout out to all the OGs, the runners back in the day. Chelsea Flower Show 2015. Grant Sandy Phillips, yo. Kelly Ross, yo. Louis Barron, yo. All of the Cool Box crew them. You know who you are. Ross Campbell, yo. Chris Mears, yo. All of the OG runners, those days were so cool back in the day, and God, I missed 2015 summer, beautiful Chelsea Flower Show for the BBC as a runner. That was just the one. And yeah, it's amazing how the landscape's changed, but I'll be forever grateful of the learning and how I got to see commercials shine back in the day. It's mad to think that you could spend six figures on something now that actually a social media post could outperform. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was great.
Amazing. Love it. Thank you, dude. Ladies and gents, see, you knew you were going to have fun. Love it. Right, look, and how do people check you out? Website, socials, where do they find you?
Yeah, check out freelancevideographerlondon.co.uk. Any people that want to get involved in the business, give us a shout. We've always got space, and it's always nice to connect with any talent from any level. But yeah, we're here to help.
Amazing. So, ladies and gents,
that's
until we meet again, that is a wrap.
So that was a chat with the king or queen in the game. I'll give it a shout at the end so you all know the name. It's the Film Gods Podcast. The what? The Film God Podcast.